Yo, what's up? So basically, I've been following JayDreamerZ for like a long time, and I went back to like, his playlists and shit. Saw his Illuminati Insider, which is a series he did of a reading of like, I don't know, some long thread on maybe Reddit or 4chan or something like that, where this guy claiming to be like a member of quote unquote the Illuminati and divulged a bunch of information saying that, you know, that was something that he was chosen to do, like his mission. And I'm just here to break it down and kind of like reverse engineer all the programming and the lies within it. So that's going to be interesting. Sit tight, because this is going to be a long one.
What's up, YouTubers? This is JayDreamerZ. In 2008, a supposed Illuminati insider went onto an internet forum and opened up a question and answer session in which the public at large could ask him anything that they'd like about any topic. What I'm about to read to you is that question and answer session. I'm sharing this because I feel like it may benefit some of the information, may help some of you out there. So take what resonates with you and discard the rest. Here we go.
Yeah, that's so true. That you have to do that with every single thing. Like, you know, but it doesn't matter what kind of conscious or truth or communities you're in. Not all of that shit is meant for you or is actually useful information. A lot of that shit is actually like working backwards. So you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, kind of, when you involve yourself with too much information, because a lot of the information that you're getting is not exactly correct or the full story. It's like truths and lies mixed together, so you have to be able to reverse engineer it.
I am a generational member of a ruling bloodline family. Every so often, as per the directives of the law of our Creator, a brief window of opportunity opens whereby a select handful of our family are required to make communication with our subjects and offer you the chance to ask us any questions you would like answered. I am double bound in this duty. It is required of me by the law of our Creator to offer this opportunity to you at this time, though I am also bound by the law of free will and by family oaths, that there is only so much I am able to say. Rules define life in games. If you wish to participate, here they are. Number 1, I will afford you courtesy and respect in the manner I address you, and I expect the same in reciprocation. Number 2, I will decide whether or not I am either willing or permitted to answer your question. If your question is not answered, it is either because I cannot disclose it, or because I consider your question was lacking in one or more of the following: respect, courtesy, intelligence, decency, or that it was otherwise unworthy of being dignified with a response. Number 3, that you agree to treat this potential dialogue with an aspect of provisional faith. In practice, this means that rather than impeding the flow of information with crass comments or disbelief or petty name-calling, my participation here requires of you that you discourse with me under suspended judgment. In other words, wait until the process is complete before deciding for yourself as to the content of truth and knowledge imparted herein. Number 4, that you formulate your questions intelligently. My time is limited. I do not want to waste it by having to trawl through pointless, futile, insensible, or disrespectful questions. Therefore, I will answer the questions I feel are the most deserving of a response during the time that I have available. Use the time we have wisely. If any of the above conditions are breached, I reserve the right to terminate our discourse forthwith, if I so choose. That being said, I will attempt to answer your questions as honestly and openly as is permissible for me. I will check back and respond as time allows. How many generations back does your bloodline extend? Or perhaps more accurately, who does your family consider its earliest ancestor in a position of power? Our lineage can be traced back beyond antiquity, from the earliest times of your recorded history and beyond. Our family has been directing the play from behind the scenes in one way or another. Before the rise and fall of Atlantis, yes, that was indeed perfectly real. We are born to lead. It is our part of the design for this current paradigm. To what extent?
Let me clarify, they're not born to lead. It's just they're fucking their sole prerogative. Like they're part of an entire hive mind group soul, and they all can't go against their orders. Like they're literally living as an AI, and the reason why they always find themselves in high positions of power is because that's literally, down to the very code, what they're meant to do. They're meant to seize these positions and remain in control. This was orders given to them by Yahweh, Kronos, Satan, El, Saturn, whatever the fuck you want to call him. That's literally their god, and he has descended his consciousness upon mortals in this realm in order to continue with his plans. And this person's probably one of them.
Has selective breeding been used to preserve the purity of the line? And what becomes of children of unapproved unions? They would naturally still be raised with privilege, but not perhaps given the keys to the castle, as it were?
I also want to clarify, I don't believe in like blood pacts and bloodlines and shit like that, because I don't believe that your physical manifestation is as important as your spiritual connection. Like spirit transcends subjects of race, gender, and genealogy. Basically, you have to avoid getting too attached to material ideals like that, because that's what's going to keep you coming back to this reality. All of those attachments and egoic programs that are running.
The breeding is generally case-specific, depending upon the role that family member in question are due to grow into. I will touch more on this in answer to the next poster's question that you rephrased. There are no unapproved unions. Our family will always intermarry between lines, or what we would term houses. Marriages are arranged. In all my years alive, I have never seen or heard of a family member breaking this code, as far as marriage goes. You do as you are told. One cannot join the family, one is born or incarnated into it. On the rare instances of a child being born that could be seen as bringing difficulties, you are correct in your premise that it would be raised as part of the family, though would not grow up in the house or community of either of its parents.
You see how much importance that they put on shit like family intermarriage? It's because these people are so afraid of or let me rephrase that. Basically, they work like a hive mind, and their physical manifestation is almost everything they are, because they don't have access to the higher conscious realms beyond what is encapsulated within the logos of the demiurge. If you don't know what the demiurge is, then you got to get into Gnosticism.
If one were to imagine a scale, perhaps as a triangle with political, religious, and corporate power at the 3 points, how would you categorize the power of your family yields? Balanced? Leaning more towards one or the other? Heavily favoring one of the three above the others? And has that position shifted over time? You need to first understand the structure of the family. In the grand scheme of things, the line is not as important as the house. The house is not as important as the family. The family is all. No matter the house or the line, we are one, truly international family. Imagine, if you will, a body. A house would represent a vital organ, or a body part within the body itself. Each part has an important role to play in the functioning of the whole, and to each of us, the whole has our undivided loyalty. As I say, many lines, far more than you are aware of, one family.
You see how you can liken them to some fucking AI, artificial intelligence ant colony? That's literally the way that these elites operate themselves on a mental level. This is how they're able to stay in control, because they all work towards the same exact goals. There is no individuality besides what is permitted, as long as you follow your orders and you follow the main prerogative, the main goal, which is to expand and infect and control. That's what their programming is, and that's why they're still in control.
Our realms of influence do not fit as comfortably into these 3 boxes of your triangle as you imagine. There are 6 disciplines of training within the family, and each member of the family is schooled extensively in all of them, from early childhood. We all have an area of speciality, though we have experience in all spheres. The 6 spheres or schools of learning are military, government, spiritual, scholarship, leadership, and sciences. In practice, out there on the stage of public life, we hold key positions in all of these main areas of importance. With the addition of a complicit media machine and ownership of your financial establishments, all bases are covered. I will have to reply to this in parts due to the restriction of characters per post. Which ruling bloodline family?
So this is just an aside, but I like how he's reading this off of a piece of paper like he printed out all the pages of the conversation. I find like that's so fucking hilarious. He's reading it off of pages, even though it was an online conversation. I think he might have done that because he didn't know how to archive it. Or maybe he just really wanted it in like a physical format so that he could just take it with him wherever he goes. I don't know, but I just find it funny that he has to read it from a piece of paper instead of just reading it from his screen.
Rockefellers? This may be a bit too direct for our inquisitee. I'd offer the following substitute. How many parallel bloodlines do you estimate are in similar positions to your own? And what extent does your family see them as either competition or collaborators? Yes, as I say, knowing the line is of no practical use to you. It is the belonging to the family that is important. There are 13 base or core original bloodlines, yet there are many other lines that spring from these, as do rivers from the oceans. If you imagine the 13 original lines as primary color,
I'm pretty sure that's his phone.
If you imagine the 13 original bloodlines as primary color that can be mixed to create a vast array of other colors, then you will have some comprehension. Again, no competition, just family. No competition in the sense of house against house, though it's a dog-eat-dog world. So there is interpersonal competition in that sense of the word. Everyone wants to move up. Our whole family society is geared that way, toward upward progression. What does the term generational member mean? Which generation specifically? It means that one is born into the family. The order and its agenda is handed down from generation to generation. Only in extremely rare occasions have outsiders been invested into the family, and then, even these were of other esoterically interchangeable lines. Can you cite 2 or more previous instances whereby this directive has been upheld? Once in 1999, to what you would call an alternative media source, once in 2003 on another internet conspiracy-based forum, though the information relayed was not entirely pure, not from the intention of misleading, but rather imperfect or incomplete knowledge of the messengers. It is not in the mainstream controlled media, it will not be believed by the masses, or if it is not. This is information tailored for those who already know that we are very real, and exerting a strong, if mostly subtle, influence over your lives. If you wish to enslave a man, allow him to believe that he is already free.
No, if you wish to enslave a man...
By what basis is the timing of such revelations established?
If you wish to enslave a man, create a thought system in which... well, you can also enslave a man, like, physically. Only on the physical level, right? You can't enslave them mentally, other than by childhood indoctrination. But first you have to create a thought system in which you can beg certain questions and then feed the answers too. Like Christianity, for example. Why is there so much suffering in the world? Well, it is the will of God. You know, everything is a trial and tribulation to test your faith. Like this is the type of mental programming that's been going on for such a fucking long time. They'll ask you the question and then give you the answer at the same exact damn time so that they can program you so that when other people ask these questions, you could just answer with the same pre-programmed response. That's how fucked up it is. That's how fucked up all of philosophy, all of religion is, because it's all just been geared back to the same fundamental problems that is keeping this reality locked down the way it is by these fucking archons.
Established. By the decree of the Supreme World Council according to the will of our Creator. Are we really considered chattel and traded as such by the government?
Yes.
By the governments, generally, yes. People are seen as collateral, pawns that are maneuvered around the chessboard according to the game plan. By the family, contrary to popular beliefs, many of us do not mean you any harm directly. There is just a matter of divine destiny to uphold and unfold, and we...
No. Truly divine beings don't seek to enslave, they don't seek to control other beings. All they seek is to have fun. Have fun and love. That's their programming, right? These fuckers, they're the ones you have to set yourself apart from them, right? If you think of yourself as a divine being and you don't understand all the pain and all the killing and suffering in the world, that's because you don't even fucking come from here, right? Wherever you came from, that shit was not the norm. But when you come here, they're trying to tell you that this is the norm, right? And they're trying to, as an alternative, give you this belief that, oh, you can ascend to the 4D or the 5D Earth, right? Or you can be part of the new Atlantic movements, right? To create heaven on earth. Fuck that shit. This place is already so corrupted. We gotta get the fuck out of here, man. This shit is not it.
We must play our parts in the game as given to us by the Creator.
Play our parts in the game as given to us by the Creator.
In many ways, it is actually in our own interest that you are prepared for the coming harvest. Just not maybe prepared in quite the way that you would like.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That is so hilarious. Yeah, we're gonna prepare you for the harvest, but not in the way that you're thinking. That's a dead giveaway, motherfucker.
Still, even then, you are choosing the negative polarity with your own free will decisions, and a little help and direction from us. Souls are harvestable in either extreme of the polarities, one could say.
Did you hear that? Souls are harvestable on either sphere of the polarities, as one could say. That means that if you're positive or negative, your ass is still getting harvested. You don't understand that there is false light in this reality, as well as darkness. And the false light is just putting you back in the same fucking direction of getting recycled and harvested through the reincarnation trap. This shit is so fucking oppressive on all levels.
If so, how do we become free men? You will never be free for as long as you are incarnating on this planet.
That's true. That is true. That's true. Free, and I'm talking about like free on all levels. If you're enslaved on one level, but you're free on 4 others, then I don't care. I still feel like you're enslaved. You gotta get the fuck out of this matrix, man. I'm telling you. It's the only way that you're going to escape from all these parasites and chameleons that are trying to take over what your energy and what you put out. Because as long as you're building a sandcastle on somebody else's fucking pit, they can knock it down whenever they want. That's why building in this matrix, you have to take caution, right? Because you don't own this place. It's not yours. Think about that for a second. Of course, you should still work and try to find bits of happiness and build towards your purpose that you incarnated into this reality for. But you should also not hold too much attachment to what you build within this reality, because it can be taken away from you at a moment's notice.
The very nature of your being here is indication of that. There is a reason why you are here, and here is very likely not really where you think here is. How do you become free? By working out where you are and coming to an understanding of why you are here. You are fast running out of time to do so before the coming harvest. Those that don't make it will have to repeat the cycle.
I will agree that we are running out of time. And I'm talking about like individually, as people. Because if you're not already starting to pick at, the fucking meat that is this giant's lie burger, this lie ham, you're already behind. Like, if you don't already up to this point understand that the media is a lie, religion is a lie, politics is a lie, then you're behind. You gotta get up on it, man.
Is the Messiah alive today? There is no Messiah. Stop looking outside of yourself for salvation.
That right there is the truest thing that this Illuminati insider, quote unquote, has said since the beginning.
Is there what you might call a Christ consciousness alive? Then yes, in a manner of speaking, though not in your third density or dimensional awareness.
I don't follow any Christ consciousness movements or communities, because Christ itself has been heavily programmed. Like, this is what the virus will do. They'll take a pure thing that goes against the virus and then make it for the virus. Like, look at Jesus and how they gave him the shepherd symbolism with the fucking cane that leads the sheep to the harvest. Do you not understand how fucking backwards that is? Jesus incarnated and was a fucking psychic Superman that wanted to help awaken people and get them out of the fucking matrix. He wasn't for the demiurge, he was against God. And then now look how they perverted that. That's what the virus does at every single fucking turn. There's so much, like, even if you take the Luciferians, even the Luciferians are Satanists. They don't even know who the fuck Lucifer really was. Lucifer was basically the same exact type of archetype that Jesus is, trying to awaken humanity so they can get the fuck out of the matrix. I'm telling you, man, this shit is fucked up on all levels. And then they tell you that Satan is Lucifer. Motherfucker, if you go back to the etymology and you go back to the mythologies, Satan is God, and God is also Kronos, is Set from Egyptian mythology, El, Yahweh. What other names can I think of? Sut, Tython. There's so many names for the same fucking guy. But, hey, Satan and God aren't the same person. Shut the fuck up. You haven't done any research. Fake ass Christians.
Is it the end times as described in the book of Revelations? Yes, not just described in the book of Revelation, but also in prophecies of virtually every religion, spiritual philosophy, and mystery tradition throughout history. The time is now at hand. To use your own example, however, in your book of Revelation, then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and on that cloud sat one like the Son of Man, having his head a golden crown, and on his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, "Thrust your sickle and reap, for the time has come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe."
Do you understand that? Do you understand what the fuck is going on here? Sickle, harvest, crops. Our souls are the crops, and these archons are harvesting us for our energy in the reincarnation cycle. Come on now, man. I mean, it's even a fucking dead giveaway in the Bible.
So he who sat on the cloud thrust his sickle into the earth, and the earth was reaped.
That's also why I don't trust this Son of Man 144,000 soul thing either, because I feel like that itself is also another program.
The earth is indeed ripe for harvest. The question is, who will be ready, and will the harvest be positive or negative? To be continued.
To be continued. Let's. I'm gonna do up
Part
to
2.
3, and then
How
I'll
do you
just.
justify that the current British...
I'm gonna do 3, right? I'm gonna go all the way down to 3, and then I'm gonna cut the video, and then I'll continue this at a later time until I've completed 5 videos on this, picking each part in 3 videos.
royal family line is the true bloodline, but Ishmael is not the true receiver of Abraham's gift. If you're true bloodline, you'll know what I mean. Who says that it is the true line? There were ruling bloodlines long before your Yahweh and his Christianity arrived on this planet. Yahweh is a creator, not...
Ruling bloodlines, as in, they're talking about, like, the 7 heavenly bodies, the 12 archetypes, you know, shit like that. Those actually descended into bloodlines. Those actually descended into gods. Basically, first, it was, you know, a handful of gods, basically, right? And when they imprinted their energy upon material earth, they basically created blood replicas of their energy in the physical realm, and those became the different races that were here, you know, on earth in the very beginning of creation and mortals, right? There was a bunch of different earths that all ended because they couldn't quite get control of it the way that they wanted, right? Basically, humans or whatever life existed on this world was just cattle to them. But they would still, you know, imbue them with their energy. That's why people of certain races all share certain features, because those were the features of one god that descended and passed down through the blood all the way to, current day. There's some races on this world that mixed so much they look nothing like they did thousands of years ago. Like, blacks, Asians, Indians, basically any race with like significantly different features from another race all came from a certain god. Still though, I don't put too much emphasis on the state of my physical body or my blood, or the god way back that I came from. As far as like where I get my genetic makeup from, I don't really care about that. What I care about is my connection to spirit and getting out of the matrix and helping whoever I can wake up in the process. This is what this series is for.
The one infinite creator. There are other and higher gods than him. Ultimately, all are part of the one, and either consciously or unconsciously exercising their free will to create. Begin to study outside of the box for a true understanding of the creation. The British royalty is not the most powerful line. The names that you know do not hold the real ancient power. There are others above these lineages in the hierarchy. You will not know the names of these. What proof do you have that the ruling elite families exist and that you're a member of one? It's something that I think you thought was not falsifiable, which is why you chose that identity for your story or for your weaving. However, I think there may indeed be a way that you can prove it. I have no need to prove anything to you. I am merely doing my duty as directed to me. Believe or do not believe, we are divinely indifferent. I am obliged to complete this task here. The end result is of no consequence to me. I will have discharged my duty in handing down certain information that must be released at this time. There is no stipulation as to where I do so, only that I do so. I chose this website as the general level of intelligence, comprehension, and reasoning is reckoned to be higher than in many such forums. Understand, due to the law of free will, I cannot just give you information, at least not without consequence to my own person, which I would rather avoid. It is an infringement upon your free will, your right not to know. You have to ask me for the information you want. Only then can I provide it. So, whilst there are important things I have to share, if I am not asked the questions, I cannot get that information to you.
You know what? I kind of agree with this because I'll just give out information for free all the time, but it's not very well received, and sometimes it makes people like really fucking angry, So like, what I started doing is teasing the information and getting somebody to ask the question, because then there's like a dialogue and then there's like, some back and forth between that, because they're giving like approval that they want to hear more or they want more to be explained. And that way I'm less angering people and more giving people what they asked for. Some people choose to be ignorant. And you know what? I think I'm kind of fine with that. I used to get angry at people for being ignorant, but how are you supposed to be angry at somebody for them not knowing something? Everybody was ignorant at one point, and everybody needs to learn. Some people don't want to learn, though. I think that's fine. It's just, it marks the difference between them and you, what I mean?
I am hopeful that synchronicity will bring the most important questions of real depth out from among you. My duty is to offer. Yours is to ask. My duty is fulfilled, whether or not yours is. Surely if ruling elite families exist, and you're a member of one, then you must be controlling global events through world governments. Tell us one major government action from any country that's going to occur in the next 5 days. I am not at liberty to discuss such intimate, immediate detail, and in many cases, I am not far up enough in the hierarchy to know anyway. Typically, I would receive a call a day before the enactment of a major event just to say something along the lines of, "This part of such and such a plan will take place tomorrow in such and such a way. Do not be alarmed." Also, one has to take into account the specific areas of speciality I mentioned previously. My area is in spirituality, so my focus is not so much in geopolitical events. I am aware of the overall design, though the finer points are not often my area of expertise. Let's see if we can increase the depth of inquiry and question matter in the next session. Seek beyond the superficial. Get to the core of the matter. How do you know that your bloodline deserves to lead and the rest deserve to follow? Wealth and power is self-propagating, therefore I say to you that your bloodline only comprises the extreme elite of the world because your ancestors came to power by chance in the beginning, not because your kind are special. In fact, there's nothing special, clever, or honorable in enslaving others. It is not about deserving or not. Does one deserve to be born English, or American, or Italian, or French, or German, and so on? We came not to power by chance, but rather, which I know may be hard to swallow, by intelligent design.
It was by intelligent design. Because if you, okay, let's say that you're reincarnating, right? With no memory of what happened in your last life, and everything is just getting wiped clean every single time that you die, how can you actually expect to progress? Because that's what was happening. They were trying to kill all the immortal beings that wouldn't die from other means so that they could get them the fuck out of here, right, off the material plane into the astral plane. And then in order for them to reincarnate back into the physical, they would need to like get a complete wipe of their soul. That's basically the plan that's been enforced thus far, and that's why it's so hard for the people to wake up, because they can't remember what happened in their last lifetimes. Like, if you can remember 2 lifetimes or even 3 lifetimes, then a lot of things are going to be made sense for you. One of the things that are going to be made sense immediately is that 1, there's life beyond death. 2, if I already learned the lesson, I don't need to learn it again, which means the wisdom is compounded at that point, and you're already a better person because of it. And then 3, we can have connection, because we know that when we meet somebody in this life, this is not the last time that we see them. So our depth of connection only strengthens between our brother and sister. Those 3 things, just those 3, there's way more things that become self-evident when you realize that you have multiple lifetimes. But those 3 things right there can actually topple the system that's been created as of this point. Think about it.
This path of ours was not chosen by us, but rather it was appointed and accepted. Who is your creator, and is your creator the same as our creator? This is an excellent question, which I can use to draw our communication closer to the core. Yes and no. You would first need to understand the creation. In the beginning, there is the infinite one. This is the source of all, intelligent infinity. It is the undifferentiated absolute. Within it is unlimited potential waiting to become. Think of it as the uncarved block in your Taoist traditions. Infinite intelligence, becoming aware of itself, seeks to experience itself, and the infinite one creator is born, or manifest. This appears to your 3rd density comprehension as space. In effect, the creator is a point of focused infinite consciousness or awareness into infinite intelligent energy. The one infinite creator, also becoming self-aware, seeks to experience itself as creator, and in so doing, begins the next step down in the creational spiral. The one infinite creator, in focusing its infinite intelligence, becomes intelligent energy, which you could call the great central sun, and divides itself into smaller portions of itself that can then in turn experience themselves as creators, or central suns. In other words, each central sun or creator is a step down in consciousness, awareness, or distortion from the original thought of creation. So, in the beginning was not the word, but thought. The word is thought expressed and made manifest as creator. There is unity. Unity is all there is, infinite intelligence and infinite energy. The 2 are one, and within them is the potential for all creation. This state of consciousness could be termed as being. Infinite intelligence does not recognize its potential. It is the undifferentiated absolute. But infinite energy recognizes the potential of becoming all things in order to bring any desired experience into being. Intelligent infinity can be likened to the central heartbeat of life, and infinite energy is the spiritual lifeblood, or potential, which pumps out for the creator to form the creation.
Yeah, there's no lies here. There's no lies. I mean, that was pretty truthful for the most part. There are better ways that could have been worded, but for the most part, that's correct, you know?
Creation is based upon the three primary distortions of the infinite one. The first is free will. In the first law, or distortion, of creation, the creator receives the free will to know and experience itself as an individuated, though paradoxically unified aspect of the one. Number 2, love. In the second law of creation, the initial distortion of free will becomes a focus point of awareness known as logos, or love, or the word in biblical terms. Love, or logos, using its infinite intelligent energy, then takes on the role of co-creating a vast array of physical illusions, or thought forms, or densities, which some call dimensions, in which, according to its intelligent design, will best offer the range of potential experiences in which it can know itself. In effect, the one infinite creator, in dividing itself into logos, could be termed in your third density understanding as a universal creator. In other words, logos creates on a universal level of being. Logos creates physical universe in which it and the creator may experience themselves. The third is light.
Hold on, I just wanted to stop it here to say the universe is not love and light. It is actually like a wide spectrum of expressions on all different levels of existence and creation. The reason why evil exists is because it was permitted to exist. So, like, you know, that initial spark of creation doesn't have a bias. If there's a reality to be conceived, it will conceive it because that was the entire universal plan from the start, to experience itself in all of its different expressions. So when people say that the universe is love and light, that doesn't make any sense, because that's just ignorance of all the darkness. It's both. It's all of the above and even more. Even concepts that don't exist in this reality. You're limiting yourself way too much by reducing the matrix, or not the matrix, but reducing source to love and light. You're limiting yourself. I would rather replace love with empathy, because if you're able to expand your consciousness, then it also overlaps with other consciousness. And empathy as an emotion is one of the functions that become activated from overlapping consciousness. Empathy is literally temporal psychic connection that allows you and another consciousness to perceive themselves as the same, which is why information can be passed instantaneously between one atom and another atom because of this fact. It's actually like, it's like empathy is actually quantum, right? I don't know. I want you to really think about this. My wording right now is not sufficient to explain the concept that I'm trying to convey. But if you think about it, I'm pretty sure you'd understand what I'm trying to say.
To manifest this infinite spiritual or life force energy into a physical thought form of densities, Logos creates the third distortion of light. From the three original primary distortions of the One into making the creation arise a myriad of hierarchies and other sub-distortions containing their own specific paradoxes. The goal of the game is to enter into these further divisions of creation, and then seek to harmonize the polarities in order to once again know oneself as the creator of them. The nature of all such physically manifest energy is light. Wherever thus exists any form of physical matter, there is light, or divine intelligent energy at its core or center. Something which is infinite cannot be other than, or many. An infinite creator knows only unity. Thus, drawing upon its infinite intelligence, the infinite creator designed a blueprint based on the finite principles of free will of awareness and sub-level creations, which in turn could become aware of themselves and seek to experience themselves as creators. And so the Russian doll-style experiment was stepped down and down and down. Levels of creation within levels of creation. The one infinite creator, or great central sun, steps down its infinite energy to become Logos. Logos, in turn, designs vast universes of space, as yet unmaterialized, stepping down and splitting itself, again, into Logoi, which is just plural of Logos. In other words, into an array of central suns, which will each become a Logos, or co-creator of its own universe, which each unique individualized portion of the one infinite creator containing within it, as its very essence, intelligent infinity. Using the law of free will, each universal Logos, or central sun, designs and creates its own version or perspective of physical reality in which to experience itself as creator. Stepping down again, it focuses its intelligent energy and creates the unmanifest form of galaxies within itself, and splits itself into yet further co-creator portions, sub-Logos, or suns, which in turn will then design and manifest their own ideas of physical reality in the form of points of consciousness awareness that we call suns, stars, and planets. A planetary entity, or soul, begins the first density of experience into which another individualized portion of the one can incarnate. Just as with all Logos and sub-Logos of creation, each soul is yet another smaller, unique portion of the infinite one. At first, the intelligent energy of the planet is in a state that you could call chaos, meaning that its energy is undefined. Then the process begins again. The planetary energy begins to become aware of itself. The first density of awareness is consciousness. And the planetary Logos, or sub-sub-Logos in effect, begins to create other downward steps within itself, and the internal makeup of the planet begins to form as the raw elements of air and fire combine to work on the waters and the earth, thus arising conscious awareness of their being, and the process of evolution begins, forming the second density. Second density beings begin to become aware of themselves as being separate, and thus begin to evolve toward the third density of self-conscious awareness, the lowest density into which a human soul can incarnate. Humans, in turn, or the souls incarnated within them, seek to return to the light and love from which they came, and they begin the journey of progression from third density up to the eighth density and to return to the infinite oneness. Explanation of the densities beyond normal human consciousness is another question, though. So, if you wish to know more about them, someone will need to ask an intelligent question which I can respond to so as not to impinge upon your free will not to know. Part 3. So, having set forth the above, I can return to further elucidate on your original question, which was, who is your creator, and is your creator the same as our creator? As I said, yes and no. Ultimately, every living thing, and all things are living, is created by the one infinite creator's initial universal creation. So yes, taken from that perspective, the one infinite creator focuses its infinite intelligence onto an awareness point of infinite energy and brings the whole of creation into being, though we are not directly created by the one infinite creator, but rather by our own Logos, sub-Logos, and sub-sub-Logos, and so on. So, from that perspective, whilst we are all essentially made up of the same stuff of creation, initiated by the one infinite creator, our actual personal creators are different portions or sub-Logos of the one. In other words, yes, our creator, while originating from the same source, is not the same entity as your creator. Which brings me on to a question from another poster. I will continue with your other questions afterwards, but this enables me to indirectly answer the first aspect of your question without having to ask you to rephrase it due to having to carefully dance around the free will issue. You say that you come from 13 original bloodlines, yet the DNA mapping project clearly proved that all humanity descends from only 3. Does this mean that you are not human? An excellent question, thank you. Yes, that is correct in a manner of speaking. If you were to meet me walking down the street, I would appear just as human as you do. We've been incarnating here with you for generations, yet our bloodlines do not originate from this plane, or planet. Your answer to the 6 disciplines of learning are quite similar to a book about Atlantis that was supposed to have been channeled. Was this also a time for your bloodlines to post answers? Yes, that is correct, again, in a manner of speaking. Other, shall we say, off-world entities also visited the planet at that time, and passed down their own understanding of creation as well as their technology, from what would best be described as being a future aspect of yourselves. It was humanity's errors in handling this information that ultimately led to the destruction of Atlantis. Having now answered a question, or whether or not our lineage is of human origin, I can return to tie in that answer with an explanation as to who is our creator. I'm dancing close to the line in answering this, but the record needs to be set straight, and I should just about to be able to get away with it without incurring my own upline's displeasure. Let's get to the crux of the matter. Your creator, the one you have called Yahweh, is not God inasmuch as your Bible refers to him as being the one true God. He is a creator, or sub-sub-Logos, rather than the one infinite creator. He's not even a galactic level Logos, but rather is the planetary Logos for this planet.
No, not for this planet. Not for this planet. The I would say the logos for this planet is like Gaia Sophia, and Saturn, Kronos, Yahweh, God, whatever the fuck you want to call him, is basically controlling the mentality, the psychic spheres, and the astral spheres of Earth towards his end goal, which would be complete control over the entire matrix. So let me put it this way, right? This reality used to belong to Gaia Sophia, but she fell, and the entire system, in the astral, descended into matter. And in the astral, there's a bunch of archons that all serve the demiurge, and one of the aspects of the demiurge is Saturn, Kronos, Set El God, who at this point in time governs this reality, but not in the way that you think. It's more about governing the mind and the travel of souls. I should go a little further and also say that the God of the Old Testament is Saturn Kronos, and the God of the New Testament is Zeus Jupiter. This is a lot of information that seems really disconnected, but if you read like more things, then it'll all make sense.
Our creator is the one you refer to as Lucifer, the light bearer, and bright and morning star.
This is what a lot of elites and what I really hate about Luciferians is that they don't actually worship Lucifer. You shouldn't worship Lucifer in the first place, but they don't actually worship Lucifer. They worship Yahweh. They just say that they worship Lucifer because Lucifer as a being helped to awaken mankind at one point in time. In this realm, in this reality. Basically the same as a Jesus figure. But the issue with it is that modern day Luciferians are very Saturnian. They're very controlling. They lie, they deceive, and they seek to expand and infect. Those are all Saturnian aspects, not Luciferian aspects. And they're lying to you. So when people become Luciferians, but they're still sporting all the same exact Saturnian symbolism, that's a dead giveaway that they don't have anything to do with Lucifer. It's all about Saturn to them. But they don't even know, because they don't even know the history of any of this shit. They even know how fucking bad society as a whole has been conditioned to think that Lucifer and Satan are the same exact figure, because they're not. They think that God and Satan are different. They told you that Lucifer and Satan are the same. This is fucked up on so many levels.
Our creator is not the devil, as he has been spuriously portrayed in your Bible. Lucifer is what you would call a group soul.
No, Lucifer is not a group soul. Lucifer is not a hive mind. I would say that his goals were towards a collective, to help awaken humanity. But I would not say that he is a hive mind.
Or a social memory complex, which has evolved to the level of the 6th density.
Yahweh is a social memory complex, which is why all of the Abrahamic religions all seem to work towards the same goal and all seem to represent the same ideals. They're all bound around materialism and focus on the earth.
Which in effect means that he
and their lives, but they don't know anything about the other spheres. All they care about is how good their physical manifested lifestyle is, and they'll pray to God and scorn their own sins don't exist, in favor of,
or more accurately,
appeasing this crazy harvesting war god that took control of the astral spheres and the entire earth through these societal soul programs.
we has evolved to a level sufficient that we have attained a status equal or arguably greater than that of Yahweh.
No.
We have evolved higher than him. In appearance, were you to gaze upon Lucifer's fullest expression of our being, the appearance would be that of a sun or a bright star.
True.
Or when stepping down into a third density vibration, we would appear as what you may term an angel or light being.
Yeah, but these guys are about to go into some shit that is going to be a dead giveaway that they're false light beings.
Allow me to elucidate. When an entity, or a group soul complex, evolves to the level of the 6th density, it is by comparison to the amount of time it takes to get that far a mere hop, skip, and a jump from 8th density, ultimate reunion with the one infinite creator, and then from there, back to dissolution into the source of all intelligent infinity.
Yeah, so these guys come up with a bunch of numbers like 12 dimensions, 8 dimensions, 6 dimensions, 7 dimensions. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how far that you have to go or what realms that you have to jump through in order to get back to source. All I know is that if it has to do with a fucking number, then I'm pretty sure you're still in the Matrix. The astral realm is in the Matrix. They don't tell you that. They think that you learn astral projection and you're good. No, you're not good when you learn astral projection, because the next step from astral projection is finding the portals that lead you out of the bubble that is this reality, and that includes all levels of this reality. When I say this reality, I'm not talking about just the physical air. I'm saying the mental, the etheric, the astral, the physical. I'm talking about all levels. That's what I mean when I say reality. And even if you're in the astral realm, you're still in the Matrix.
We, our bloodline families, as a group soul or social memory complex, termed Lucifer, we're on the verge of 7th density ascension. Though at this level, before harvest comes, we have the choice to progress higher, or to return to help others of lower densities with their own evolution by passing down our knowledge and wisdom, or light, to those that call upon us for assistance with their own free will. Now, at this...
Yeah, so there is ascension in this reality, but it's very, very guarded and very narrow in its path, so that it all returns back to you serving the demiurge, which is basically a soul collective of archons that control the astral spheres, and the astral spheres control what happens back down on Earth. So no matter what, you know, even if you may perceive yourself as climbing up the ladder, you know, like the Masons do, you're still in direct subservience to God. Yes, Masons, the Freemasons, they worship God.
This time, having made our decision to stay and help our galactic brothers and sisters in the One, we were assigned a challenging
Well, who is Satan, by the way?
task by the Council of Elders, who act as the guardians of the galaxy from their 8th density headquarters on the planet Saturn.
These guys are not guardians of the galaxy. Their only goal is to infect and spread the virus.
Yahweh, due to the fact that he had not, as was his right as a planetary logos, handed down his own free will to know thyself to those incarnating upon his planet, was having very little evolutionary progress therein. So we, Lucifer, we were sent to help. Once the order was given from the Council of Elders, we fell, or descended back to a place where we could, with hard work and focus, once again materialize a 3rd density manifestation of ourself. Yahweh had agreed to our coming. In fact, it was he who initially asked the Council for a catalyst of change to enter into his creation and share the knowledge and wisdom we had attained through our ascensions. In the absence of free will upon the planet, there can be no polarity, and therefore nothing to choose between. Just as is portrayed in the book of Genesis, the planet was very Edenic, like Eden in nature. Sure, it was a lovely paradise, yet the beings incarnating there had no agitator toward evolving beyond the 3rd density, and therefore little hope of ever making it the journey home to the One. Yahweh
No, the one that they're talking about is fucking Saturn Kronos. That's gonna harvest their fucking souls when they die. And I would also like to say that this is a fairy tale, and this fairy tale's purpose is to get the listener to choose the false light and perceive these elites as being part of this Luciferian soul collective, as they would like to call it. But Lucifer had nothing to do with any of this shit that they're talking about right now, other than waking up humanity. This fairy tale that they're spitting right now is to create sympathy for this elite ruling class and for you to get even further confused about what's going on in the Matrix.
has been happy to keep his own little pet Eden project in effect, but with little chance of the souls here making it home, it had become in effect an albeit very beautiful prison.
This place was not a prison in the beginning. This place was like an astral magic fairy tale world created by Gaia Sophia, where anybody could incarnate whenever they wanted and leave whenever they wanted. What happened was she started populating the creation. No, wait. First she split a piece of herself. I don't know why, out of loneliness maybe, but basically this demiurge figure was incomplete offspring, basically like what's the word called? I can't think of it right now, but basically she birthed and created a monster, not entirely purposeful, because she ended up being enslaved along with the rest of the Matrix, but she was inherently responsible for the birth of the demiurge and the enslavement in matter that happened for a bunch of different souls that incarnated into this realm.
Yahweh was, in modern parlance, running a benign dictatorship. Without polarity, derived from free will, there is only the unity of love and light, and no choice to experience other than that. So,
No. Outside of this reality, there is still going to be other realities, right? That have concepts of duality, in which that one side is negative, I guess you could say, and the other side is positive. But what you don't realize is that when they're talking about love and light in this reality, they're talking about false lights. They're talking about giving up, like opening your heart to entities to come and control you and make you a conduit for the new 4D, 5D Earth movement. But what you're really doing is opening yourself up to extraterrestrial races that don't quite exist here, but exist in the astral, and wants to incarnate here in order to control the flow of events on Earth. There's a bunch of different races that exist, not on the physical layer. Well, they can, project themselves onto the physical layer, right? Hold on, let me rephrase. Let me rewind this shit actually.
happy to keep his own little pet Eden project in effect, but with little chance of the souls here making it home, it had become in effect an albeit very beautiful prison. Yahweh was, in modern parlance, running a benign dictatorship. Without polarity, derived from free will, there is only the unity of love and light, and no choice to experience other than that. So, we were to be the catalyst for change, in order to provide that choice, thus bringing polarity.
I'm gonna insert another time that love and light is a message that is getting preached a lot in spiritual communities, and New Atlantis, 5D Earth, 4D Earth, consciousness shift. All these things are being pushed by extraterrestrial powers that want to control the flow of events on Earth through using people and making them conduits for their soul collectives. you're being controlled when you subserve when you serve these communities, and when you use yourself as a conduit for these entities, they're using you for selfish purposes while broadcasting a frequency of love and light. This love and light paradigm that has invaded the spiritual communities is false light. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yahweh agreed that we would introduce the concept of free will to Earth's inhabitants by offering them an initial choice as to whether they wanted it or not. Hence, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or more accurately, the knowledge of polarity, of positive or negative. Yahweh takes his inhabitants to a new garden and tells them that you can do anything you like except this one thing, thus creating the desire to do the one thing that they are told they cannot. Hence, a choice. We provide the catalyst by telling them the benefits of attaining knowledge. They eat from the tree, and the rest is history. Yahweh thought that his children would still choose to obey him, and when he discovered that they did not, he became angry. As he himself describes in his scriptures, he is a jealous God, and he did not like that his children had chose to disobey him and follow our advice.
He is a pretty jealous God, that is true.
We're already committed to being here for a predefined set of cycles to help provide the catalyst for the human evolution, namely by offering you the negative option, or that which you choose to call evil. Now that free will had been granted, Yahweh could not retract it, and we have to stay here as contracted, to continue to provide the planet with the polarity choice. Since then, Yahweh has confined us, as a group soul, here within the Earth's astral planes, which is very constricting and uncomfortable for a being of our wisdom and experience.
I just wanted to say that all the wars that have gone down in the past, like, I don't know, 10, 20,000 years, the reason that they've happened, because there was wars in the astral of the Demiurge and his other archetypes versus other soul collectives that generally didn't want anything to do with controlling the Earth. If they did want to control the Earth, they were beaten by the Demiurge anyways, because the Demiurge is basically a virus that is capable of splitting and infecting other soul collectives and other entities and making it part of the Demiurge. So basically, it was able to gain control of all of the astral realm through countless wars, and that is why it's still in control. Because not only were all the polytheistic peoples in the old world killed, except for like a few civilizations that couldn't be completely conquered by the Demiurge. Not only did that happen, right? Like you do understand that one of the largest religions, or the largest religions in the world are Abrahamic religions that serve this Kronos god, Saturn figure. That's because he was able to win all these battles in the astral realm against all these other gods, and any that wouldn't bow down got absorbed into the collective, which is the Demiurge. That's why there's a bunch of false choices that all lead back to the same exact being, which is why you shouldn't be worshiping any gods. You're a god yourself. And even if you are worshiping a god, somehow that energy is still getting directed back to the Demiurge, back to Saturn Kronos. There's harvesting going on all different levels. Even if you're a motherfucking, even if you're an atheist, that means that all you know is the material layer. And the material layer is being governed by Saturn. The matter is created by Saturn. So you're still Saturnian. You're still satanic if you're an atheist. You're still Saturnian if you're a Christian, Muslim. What else? If you're into Judaism, also Saturnian. Catholicism, Saturnian. If you believe in nothing, Saturnian. It's just like a bunch of false choices, you know what I mean? They're not even choices. It's all leading back to the same figure.
The Council of Elders gave us the choice to be released, against Yahweh's will, but at the cancellation of our contract to serve the planet Earth, or to remain and fulfill our assignment and endure Yahweh's self-proclaimed wrath. We stayed, but as a karmic result of our group soul's confinement by Yahweh, our own individuated souls were given to the mandate by the Council to rule over Yahweh's people during our physical incarnations here on your planet. Let's be clear about one thing though. All of this physical life incarnation is very intricate and skillfully designed as a game, whereby the one infinite creator plays the game of forgetting who it is.
They're not above Yahweh. They're actually under Yahweh, and whatever that fairy tale was that they just spit right there is just that, a fairy tale. Don't lose sight. These people are controlled by the Demiurge Soul Collective, and Yahweh, Chronos Satan, is one of the strongest and most provocative expressions of this Demiurge. And it's the one in control of this current reality right now, and is pervasive through the entire astral realm, which is why you have to go beyond the astral realm to escape the Matrix.
So that it can learn to remember, and in doing so experience and know itself.
Hold on, wait, let me go back.
Skillfully designed as a game, whereby the one infinite creator plays the game of forgetting who it is, so that it can learn to remember.
No, you're not supposed to forget who you are. That's not You're not supposed to forget who you are when you incarnate into this realm. That's something that was decided by the people who are in control of this realm. Or by... You're not supposed to forget who you are when you incarnate into this realm. That's a lie. The people who have past life information and can remember multiple lifetimes, that's how it's supposed to be, right? But this reincarnation soul trap that keeps on wiping your energy and your memory from your soul is just that, a trap. And they're trying to insert this as something that's normal. It's not normal. This is control. This is soul harvesting warfare going on a mass level all around this reality. Don't forget who Chronos is. Don't forget what the scythe and the sickle means. They're reaping souls. They're harvesting your energy. What did Chronos do? It ate its own children. Father Time. Don't forget.
And in doing so, experience and know itself as a creator, all the way down to us tiny individuated sparks of the all that is. Offstage, or between lives, we call 0-point time or antimatter universe. As incarnated human beings, we, all of us, you as souls, and us are great friends, brothers and sisters in the one.
No, they don't have actual existence outside of this matrix. In this matrix, in this reality, this is all they have. They have forsaken their spirits a long time ago. By the way, soul and spirit are not the same thing. Spirit is something that exists outside of this matrix and projects into the matrix. But as it is right now, you know, everything from the soul and down, and the soul exists in the astral, by the way, and it always returns to the astral. But everything from the soul down is all manifestations of the Demiurge, because if you don't already know this, the 12 zodiac wheel is something of Saturn Chronos, and the 7 heavenly bodies is something that was created by the Demiurge. And if you don't understand that, then now you should know that our souls were not created by us. They were just, the soul itself is also a vessel. The same way that the physical body is a vessel, the soul is also a vessel, is also a vehicle. So when you incarnate into this matrix, first you're incarnating your consciousness from your spirit into your soul to control that. And then from there, you enter a body. And that body has both a physical and an etheric layer. The etheric is the energetic layer, and the material is the atomic layer, is the matter layer. They don't tell you this. They don't tell you this. They have you think that astrology is like that important when it's really not. All astrology is just supposed to teach you is your pros and cons of who you are as a soul, right? And from there, you're supposed to maximize your strengths and minimize your weaknesses in order to become a better being and transcend the soul. You're supposed to transcend the soul because beyond your soul is your spirit. But they have you stuck on astrology, which is controlled by the fucking demiurge.
Now, between lives, we all have a great laugh about the part.
Oh, I also wanted to say that people use their birth chart as a crutch or as an excuse to be shitty people, and to that I say, fuck them.
Parts we have performed in the play, to look forward to and have great fun preparing the next chapters to act out. I hope that during the above answer, I have adequately covered your question on what is our interpretation of good versus evil. If not, please say, and I will go into more detail. Can you elaborate on the coming harvest, and what exactly do you mean by harvest? I can. I will combine my answer to you with my reply to the following question, which is 2012 harvest time? When you speak of the harvest, hold on, this is the question. When you speak of the harvest, it has echoes of chaos Gnosticism in the sense that we are divine souls trapped in the physical world, continuously reincarnated into flesh until the time that we reach such a level of spiritual gnosis that we are able to avoid being reincarnated in our next cycle. Is this the foundation of your belief? Another excellent and very insightful question, thank you. The higher the quality of the question, the more depth I can give to your answer. It all has to do with the laws of confusion and free will. Yes, the noonday winter solstice sun of December 21st, 2012, is the time when the Lord of the Harvest shall return. You might know him as Nibiru. Read up on the Mayan prophecies and calendar events for more detail upon how the actual galactic and universal cycles work. The travelers who gave them this information were the same ones who visited the civilization of Atlantis. The Mayans used that information by creating with the positive vibration of the polarity. The Atlanteans opted for the negative. Yes, to answer your question, there is much truth in some of the ancient Gnostic texts, though there are also distortions. The information is not pure, it came through many filters. You are indeed what you call divine souls. You are sparks or seeds of the one infinite creator. You are life itself, or light, remembering and learning who you really are. We came here to help you do this. And yes, currently you are trapped, or more accurately, quarantined within the matter of this planet that you call Earth. To be continued.
Alright, so that said, I'm gonna continue part 4 and onwards later. I'm gonna wrap this up and cut this up, get this posted, send this out to whatever groups that I need to hear this, and get some feedback. Continue this series later.